What's up, guys? We're here at AMC Town Square with Chasing Cinema.
James Shu, how are you?
.com, and here we are in McGuffin's AMC Town Square, Las Vegas.
Very, very nice. Little bar attachment to the AMC Theater.
Yep.
Get your drink on before your movies, and trust me, for some of the movies we're going to be watching tonight, you're going to want to drink it, yeah.
It's basically Christmas week.
Yes.
We're almost done 2014, brother.
Yes.
It's awesome.
It is nuts, and it has been a crazy month.
Literally crazy.
In the next 7-8 days, we literally are going to be having 8 to 10 films getting released. It's been changing because interview, obviously.
Sony, come on, man. Where are the cojones? I'm not. Moving on.
That's a total different discussion. You can watch our video though, where me and a fellow critic talked about it on our podcast, Michael Smith. Yeah, that's available on our YouTube channel.
Live already.
Yes, we did it the day of. Boom. Now, bringing it to you first. So one of the films we're going to be watching today is the third installment in Sean Levy's series, The Night at the Museum.
Part 3.
Yes, Secret of the Tomb.
Robin Williams.
Yes.
Before he.
God, you and that joke. It's not tasteful.
Sorry.
Ben Stiller. We have a few other cameos and new performances. We're bringing back Ricky Gervais. We're introducing Rebel Wilson, who got quite famous from the Pitch Perfect series, and Bridesmaids. And well, I'll talk about the rest later. Do you like the Night Museums, and how do you feel about those?
Did not see part 1.
Okay.
Did not see part 2.
Okay, so that kind
not
of
excited in any way, shape, or form for part 3.
I thought 1 was okay, but I never liked it as much as nearly anyone, and I hated part 2. I really did not like part 2. So this movie I'm not super excited for. A lot of people are going to be going to see it. I believe it is the last film for actor Mickey Rooney, who passed earlier this year, and also not the last, but second to last film of Robin Williams. So I think there's going to be some emotion going into it, but I know it is one of the shorter movies of the year that I've been watching, at least this month.
Yeah, this was like, what, 90 minutes?
Yeah, 90 minutes. So yeah, but I'm ready.
It could be a dreadful 90 minutes or a quick 90 minutes.
This is very true.
Moving on, moving forward, very quickly, we'll be back Chasing Cinema. We're going to see how the film is, the Film Lovers website, and all that good stuff. Alright, so we just got out of Night of the Museum 3.
Secret of the Tomb.
We had Robin Williams.
Ben Stiller.
I'm gonna say this, dude. I'm really not a fan of Ben Stiller, man. His best film for me was probably Zoolander. And for many people, that's just annoying.
See, Ben Stiller, I think Ben Stiller can be really funny. I'm going to throw it back to, say, the movie Heavyweights. Did you ever see that? The kids in the fat camp? You never saw that?
I know what it is. But...
Okay, you need to watch that movie. Or The Cable Guy. I think Cable Guy, no, he's not in it. He directed that movie with Jim Carrey.
Wait, Ben Stiller? Oh, wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he plays 2 twins in the movie.
Ben Stiller?
Yeah, he plays twins in the movie that are going through this murder controversy in the background of the movie. But he directed that picture, and that is probably my favorite Ben Stiller movie.
Chasing Cinema.
But nonetheless, I don't hate him, but
like
he always kind of has an off-put way of comedy.
Meet the Fockers was good.
Yeah, Meet the Parents. Yeah. That whole trilogy.
No, Meet the Parents.
Well, Meet the Fockers is the second
part 2. Thank you.
I mean, those are okay. I've seen things where I don't mind him in, and then I've seen things where I really just don't mesh with his type of comedy. And I think he does bring this overall kind of tone of comedy that just doesn't work in this film. You know me, I'm all about creativity, I'm all about imagination, the things that the movies are, the worlds that movies can come alive. I'm a big fan of that. However, I just don't think that kind of imagination and Ben Stiller type comedy mesh together. I think ever since the second film, they really went with an immature toilet humor type route of jokes, and I think that's a killer for me. Like, there is a scene in the trailer and in the movie where a few of our main characters are peed on by a monkey. And they also be miniature, so it looks like it's raining. And stuff like that doesn't get me. I don't care for things like that. Because the first one was a little bit more witty and clever. I will say there is an emotion that you will get watching this movie and watching Robin Williams, though I will say that he is totally underused in this movie. Totally just there to be there. I think he's totally in the background, doesn't have much to say until the ending. And in the very end of the film, Ben Stiller and Robin Williams share a moment. And it's the most heart. In that 2 minutes, there is the most heart that the whole trilogy has ever offered. And it's wonderful, it's beautiful.
Great way to go
but
out.
Too little, too late. I totally was bored.
Literally too late.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Literally bored throughout the entire film. Now, there is an addition in the cast, that I need to talk about. Hugh Jackman. Not many people knew Hugh Jackman was in this movie. He actually plays Hugh Jackman. And there's a scene when he's on stage and he's doing this play and all the characters are running through a theater. and Hugh Jackman says, "Don't make me angry, I'll go Wolverine on you," and he does the Wolverine pose, and it's absolutely hilarious. He just totally makes fun of himself. It's such an odd part in this movie, doesn't seem to belong, but it's hilarious, and it's the only part that I really enjoy.
And that's why it's good. That's why it's good. Let me
overall-
ask you something.
yeah.
Miss Wilson,
Yes.
fat jokes, do you feel it's too much? Like, it's like a one-trick pony. Do you feel like, okay, you did that already?
I actually
you
find-
did that already. You did that already. You did that already.
I find Rebel Wilson quite comedic. I like her. I think she has a very, very interesting sense of comedy and likes to tease herself, you know. But in this
Is
movie,
it too much self-deprecation?
I don't think so. Not in this film.
No, like every
Just in
movie.
general?
Yeah, do you
I
feel
don't-
that way or you don't see that?
I don't see that in a lot of movies. I think people just kind of assume it's there.
Okay.
But I don't feel like it's always, you know, I think they've also made her look very strong, very confident.
Okay.
I think that's a kind of a backhand, all that. And you always have to pay attention. You know, a lot of people say, you know, a lot of people don't notice. Think about characters who are saying mean things or are saying these kind of jokes. They're usually the dumb characters we're not supposed to listen to. You know, these are the characters that we shouldn't be listening to and are always saying the wrong things. So the filmmakers are very aware of that as well. I think Rebel Wilson's funny. I think she's kind of caught herself in a little typecasting, kind of like Melissa McCarthy has,
Yeah.
by playing this specific role that is kind of around that type of humor and making fun of themselves. And I think that they could do more, but I don't think Night at the Museum gave any of really these comedians anything too strong to work with.
You know, it happens. ChasingCinema.com/
Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb.
Go to the website right here, right now, more than ever before, and read.
Yes.
Read, learn, and educate yourself.
Yes, and
get
along
more.
with this film, you'll see 3 other reviews that are coming out at least this week. It's going to be Wild, Annie, and Foxcatcher.
I have to mention it. Sony, Hack, pulling the interview. You guys talked already about it, but we didn't get to really talk about it on camera yet. And I wanted to ask you that it's like one of those things where they play the movie, they allow people to play it, and then the big chains don't pull it. Then that chain looks bad. Like you were just greedy for money. That's why you're playing it, putting people's lives in danger after there's a threat. You play it, there's a bomb goes off. Then the theater looks really bad. Or nothing happens and these people are terrorists and they're winning because they talk to us. There is no winning, double-edged sword. We're all killing ourselves.
I think, you know, a lot of people ask me how I felt about this, and I've been really on the fence. It seems that a lot of people, surprisingly to me, have been really anti-pulling the film. You know, I like you, just don't want anyone hurt.
No, I don't want
and
anyone
not that. And even though the Homeland Security has said this is kind of an empty threat, we shouldn't take this too seriously. My question always boils down to: is this the? You know, I'll choose your battles. You know, if this is something really important or something that is going to really do something, then I see the fight. But if this is a movie where, like I said to you earlier, Seth Rogen co-wrote, co-directed, starred in the film, and he already, like we said last week, or no, we said for the Hobbit review, he said, I'm not doing anything. Like, he doesn't want to be around the interview, he's not going to be, you know, at the premiere, and this is before it was pulled. So if he doesn't really care to get that film shown, then I'm not going to care to get that film shown. He obviously doesn't feel like it's important. Why should I? Granted, I know a lot of people on the other side are saying we don't compromise our terrorism. We shouldn't have submitted. But at the same time, as far as theaters, now we kind of talked about this again off camera. But now my question was: are theaters saying let's not get anyone hurt because we're afraid of liability and chance of someone getting hurt and cost and paying for it? Or is having the interview going to is not only keep people away from the theater, but people away from all the other movies that are showing at that particular theater? So is it just smarter to keep the interview out and get all the movies and keep getting revenue on the biggest day of the year, or not? So I mean, I'm not sure whose morality is on what line, but the interview being pulled is
not to sound cynical, but I'm sure it's the latter. I'm sure it's what between you said those two. I'm sure it's the latter.
And I'm sure
they don't, because if I were a dad and I'm not, I'm sure I will one day. But the day I'm a dad and there's this movie where people are saying we will hurt people who go to this movie, I don't want my kids watching Into the Woods.
And if they want to go to Into the Woods in theater next door, you're not going to.
Yeah, I don't want that.
You know, you won't take them anywhere near theaters, and that's scary, especially on the biggest day of the year. You
Very
know,
scary.
But at the same time, I mean, I get it. You know, we are fighting for the freedom of creation. We shouldn't let another country censor what we watch and what we do. But to me, I see both sides, and I really can't just say we should have let the film play, because if someone would have got hurt, I would feel terrible if, you know, something like that happened and we allowed it, especially after all the warnings. You know, but hindsight is 20/20. So we say that now, but if something happened, even if it was 1 or 2 people, or, you know, someone was worried in a theater and they were overprotective and they thought something happened and a gun went off or anything. We don't need that right now. And but at the same time, I don't feel like we should be censored. So it's a real back and forth conversation.
You texted me and you Googled, or you said the ending of the movie.
The ending of the movie has.
I Googled it. I saw the ending, and then I think it's just a matter of time, hours, days, months before the movie's released online. Anyways, not through Sony. Just you can't hide it. And come on, they just stole 100 terabytes of information. I'm sure within that 100 terabytes, that movie was there, and the North Koreans or whoever did it, they don't want to release it because they're just so disgusted that us American pigs released a film about assassinating someone who's alive. Which, when you look at it in that sense, yeah, that's why I was watching this one podcast. They're like, would we have liked it if someone made a movie about assassinating Obama? And obviously we wouldn't have liked it, and we would have got offended.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't agree with North Korea and living in that way. Yeah, I don't believe in that, obviously. But when you look at it, if you're open-minded to see both sides,
you have to. But see, to me, like I can't imagine not seeing both sides. You really have to kind of.
You must.
You have to, because again, I think that it's a lot of people now, including Hollywood. I mean, Steve Carell and a bunch of other actors and filmmakers have gone above and beyond. Judd Apatow have gone above and beyond to clarify and kind of dismiss the fact that Sony has done this. But again, I would have to say, think about if something did happen and if there was a situation. Granted, what if? It's the thing is this worth the what if? You know, as we said, is this movie where Seth Rogen and all of them are sniff each other? But is it worth that happening? And what would Steve Carell and Judd Apatow, all these actors, say once something did happen? Is it?
They never would have said. They won't say anything.
So I mean, it's a real back and forth. You have to look at it from both sides. As you said, I'm sure the film will find its way out somehow.
100%.
I mean, a lot of people are immediately pointing to VOD, video on demand, Netflix, Amazon, iTunes, all that stuff.
So I know. I don't know. But Sony won't do VOD.
They won't do VOD because not only would keep these people from attacking Amazon and Netflix and all that stuff. And my argument is, let's say they take it to Netflix and Netflix gets hacked, whose credit cards information they're gonna have? Mine, yours, Kent's, everybody's. So that's the last thing we want. My feeling is they probably should just release it online themselves, say that we're gonna release this movie and try to put no one in danger and just take the bullet.
If it's the North Koreans,
because we don't need.
If it's the North Koreans that leaked it, that hacked into Sony, I don't even think they want that.
No, they don't. But I'm saying Sony should have released it.
Why would they do that if they already don't want to release the film in general? And
I don't think they don't want to release the film. I think the whole reason why Sony is not going to want to release the film is because they're afraid of the threats and everything like that are coming to theaters and people and quote unquote 9/11 type situations. But right now the world is not happy with Sony.
No.
Right now, no matter what perspective you're at, you're not doing good.
Spider-Man.
And I'm not even talking about them financially. I'm not even talking about them from a financial standpoint. But
sorry.
No. But I mean, at least we could say we're releasing this film on our terms. We're going to release this movie. Because in my opinion, granted, Sony's going to try to keep a fight as long as they can. But God knows what this company has, and I'm sure it's enough to, not company, but organization have enough to bury Sony.
You're talking about GOP?
Yes.
Guardians of the Peace.
So if Sony releases
what a name.
I mean, that gets the people who are saying that Sony is cowardice and all these things off their backs and says, we're releasing the film. Everyone gets to see it, and it kind of says, we're not going to compromise. We'll do it on our terms, but we don't want to put people in danger. I think it lessens the danger factor. It might get Sony hurt, so they probably won't do it, but in my opinion, that would be a smart route for them to go.
Okay. Guys, come back to the YouTube channel. Go to chasecinema.com. We got plenty more to talk about. We had a couple more movies.
Yes.
Let's go back into the theaters.
Let's do it.
And we'll be back, guys.